Today's video, I'm going to be going over 10 tips to help you get started with sports card investing. Today, I'm going to be going over some tips I've learned from my last 15 years of sports card investing. I've learned these tips by myself and also from my dad, who once owned a baseball card shop. So all these tips and advice I've learned from a lot of years of experience and knowledge given to me over time. So I've been collecting when KD rookie cards were only a few dollars. You could buy a Mike Trout 2011 update for under 10, and you could buy LeBron James cards for $5, $10 as well. So I've been in the hobby for a very long time. I've seen a lot of different trends, and let's get over and start with this video. So the first one is you have to be contemplating whether you want to buy a raw card or you want to buy a graded card. And there's pros and cons of each of them. So if you don't know what a raw card is, that is a card that is not graded by a third-party grading company. Those are companies out there like PSA or SGC or Beckett. However, a graded card is already graded and it's assigned a numerical value. So, like for example, if you hear a card is a PSA 10, it's been graded a 10 by PSA. Now, here's the drawback on each of these. So, raw cards, if you want to get a higher yield of return, you have to get them graded. You're buying them cheaper, and if you get them graded, you can get them a 9 or a 10, and the value of that card goes up. So you have option to make more money. However, it takes such a long time to get graded.
Thousands of tears later.
If you're going value bulk with PSA, it's over 1 year. However, if a card's already graded, you can flip this right away. Someone already wants that slab at a specific grade, so it's a lot quicker flip. However, the return on investment is a lot lower than buying a raw card. So you have to be careful with both of those. And on the side of raw cards, always inspect your raw cards before buying them. Don't go out there and just assume every card that you buy raw is mint or gem mint or near mint. You have to inspect it. Sometimes there's surface issues, sometimes there's corner issues, sometimes there's lines or even writing on a card. So inspect your cards before buying it. When buying raw, you assume that risk. You also assume the risk of a card being fake. However, if you get it graded, there's a really, really high yield of return versus already graded. You know it's authenticated. You just don't make as much money with it. So that's raw versus graded. Number two is to actually know the valuable brands of every sport. So with baseball, for example, Topps owns all the rights for baseball. Panini isn't as valuable as Topps cards. So when you're looking to buy Topps cards, you have to know the specific brands within baseball. And right now, the best one out there is pretty much Topps Chrome Sapphire. Singles for this are really, really expensive, especially graded. However, when you go to the football side or basketball side, Panini owns the license for both of these sports. So something like Flawless or National Treasures or Prism and Select are going to be some of the top brands for those sports. So really research your niche, research your market that you're going into, and figure out what the top brands, what cards go for the most money, because it's better off to buy into those brands of players cheap and expect them to go up over time. Number three, always be investing in rookie cards. So there's so many different cards to invest in players. Don't get me wrong, there's a ton of short prints, there's really cool autographs, memorabilia cards, but rookie cards have the highest yield in return. So if you're early on a prospect, you can buy a card for $5 or $10, and over time that card turns into $50 or $100 or even more depending on the player. However, a second year or a third year isn't going to get that high return over time. Sure, a jersey autograph or something like a special short print might go up over time, but compared to a rookie card, it won't. And when you're new to the hobby, stick to rookie cards. Don't go out there and invest in other years until you're really familiar with all the different variations that there are out there. There's thousands, and you really have to study this, and you can get burned quite a bit or not get as high of a return if you're buying rookie cards. So stick to that rookie card. Number four, research the stats of a player. So many people will go out here and blindly buy players without even researching their stats. Now, I collect baseball cards. I use a site called Baseball Reference. It shows me everything that I need to know about players, any awards that a player has gotten, hits, home runs, strikeouts, batting average, like everything that you want to tell. So when you go into a sport, make sure to research these players before you buy them. You don't want to be buying a 28-year-old with only 1 or 2 years of experience in the major leagues. You want to buy someone that has accumulated stats over time, accumulated awards, and has a potential to make the Hall of Fame. Don't buy someone that's older and different things like that. Really, really research your stats, and every sport is different. So I just know baseball, that is my main sport. And yeah, so there's sites with all that. There's like hockey reference, there's football reference, basketball reference. There's a bunch of those. Just start researching the stats before you go out there and buy a player, because you'd be really, really surprised. Next one is don't go out there and avoid vintage cards. so many new collectors I see only buy cards that have just been produced in the last few years. Vintage is gold. So throughout the history of sports cards, vintage cards go up because the population of them is very, very low compared to what's being printed today. There's tens of thousands of cards being printed today. There's only so many vintage cards out there. So if you go out there and invest in some of the GOATs with vintage, invest in Hall of Famers or famous players, there's always people wanting them. There's always people out there that want to get a Babe Ruth card. There's always people out there who want to get a Yogi Berra card. Or let's say, for example, a Sandy Koufax or a Nolan Ryan. So getting high grade vintage and desirable vintage cards is a good way to diversify your assets. Sure, you can make a lot of money really fast with new cards, but vintage cards hold their value and they still go up over time. So don't ignore vintage. Next is to buy from different platforms. A lot of people will go out here and just buy from eBay. There's so much more to collecting than just eBay. So go out to a card show. Like every single weekend, I'm going throughout the state of Florida and throughout the United States and traveling and visiting card shows because I find cards that I will not find on eBay. Plus, dealers are going to give you deals compared to eBay since they don't have to pay all the fees. I like card shows. This is my favorite way to buy cards. You can also use Facebook Marketplace. You can use OfferUp. You can use Instagram. You can use Twitter. There's endless amount of ways to go out there and buy cards. So take a look at one of those platforms, or you can even look at a site like ComC or StarStock. So don't buy just from eBay. Use different avenues to buy your cards. Next one is to join Discord and Facebook groups. So this is a really good way to network and find out what's hot in the hobby and what is cold. So personally, I have a Discord group, which you can join down in the description down below. You're taking a look at it right now on the screen. And I have over 400 and about 50 members in this group right now as I'm speaking. So there's a ton of collectors in here. There's a ton of investors. So you can go out here and network, meet other people, make some trades. Really, really great community and learn more about the hobby. So join the Facebook and Discord groups. The links are down in the description in the video. Next is don't always follow the hype train. You guys can't go out there and invest in every single player in every single sport. I really recommend in the beginning you just stick to one sport and you learn as much as you can about it. So like for example, with baseball, there's over 100 years of cards and you're not going to learn everything overnight. So with baseball, some of the cards were produced in the 1800s and there's cards still being produced now in 2021. So go out there and start learning one sport at a time, learn as much as you can about it, and then go on to the next sport. That way you can have a bunch of knowledge and you know everything about it. Next tip is to go out here and actually know your prices. So personally, I use a tool called Market Movers, and I'm going to show it on the screen right now. Okay, guys, so here's the software which I was talking about, which you can take a look at card prices. So this is better than using a book or better than using recent eBay comps. It shows you a full-on graph on where the card is heading towards and also shows you recent sales as well. So it's called Market Movers. It was created by Sports Card Investor, the YouTube channel over there. And yeah, so you can see I have a Jacob deGrom 2014 Topps Update base. And this card earlier this year is going about $250. And you can see it's been going up. He's pitched well. And this past week, it spiked all the way up to $1,000. And you can oversee recent sales as well. So the card right here, low price, the high, change in percentage. And you can see also over here for sale, what cards are available as 10s. So there's an $850 one right here, which is $150 cheaper than everything else. And you can see that's it. So if you're looking to flip this card for $1,000, it's not too bad at $850, especially if the offer gets accepted. But this isn't a true PSA 10. If you take a look at this card, it's not his rookie. So this is a rookie debut, and not a rookie itself. This is the actual rookie. So you can see right here, the cheapest one on eBay is $1,100. And yeah, so this is really, really helpful because it can help you determine what the true value of your card is, if it's going up or if it's going down, if you should sell it or not. And you can see right now with this crazy jump, it might be best to sell this card unless deGrom just keeps dominating. Because it's an absolutely new high. You're talking about $1,000 compared to something that's $500 less than a week ago, even less than 4 days ago. You're talking about doubling your money that fast. So for me, at least, if I'm buying a newer card and I can literally double my money in 4 days, I'm going to take advantage of that. But this is the app Market Movers. There's so much more to it, but I just wanted to show you a quick, brief snippet of it. If you want this app, use code Breakout. You get 20% off your first purchase of Market Movers, and use that code to your advantage. I mean, if you buy out a magazine or you go out here and use 130 point or anything like that, right? So use that to your advantage, right? So if you want this software, use code Breakout. You get 20% off your first order on Market Movers, and it's cheaper than buying a magazine. And if you want to use Market Movers, use code Breakout. You get 20% off Market Movers. So save yourself some time, save yourself some money, and make more money. So if you want Market Movers, use code Breakout and link it down in the description. You get 20% off your first purchase with Market Movers. So if you want to make more money with sports cards, sell at the right time, and buy at a Lowe's, use Market Movers. Anyways, back to the video. And lastly, guys, just start. You could be here on YouTube binge watching a lot of videos. Let's say you're watching some Sasha T card shows, or you're watching some investment tips from a sports card investor or PSA collector, right? And you could be watching a ton of videos trying to learn as much as you can. But the best way to learn something is by doing. So go out there and buy your first cards. Go out there and check out Facebook Marketplace, or go out there and go to a card show, join a Discord group, and just get started collecting, because it's better to get started now than it is to wait and continually learn. Sure, you're going to lose a little bit in the beginning, but you're going to quickly learn how this market works and make a lot of money. Anyways, hope this video was really helpful. If it was, make sure to leave a like, subscribe down below,